Our son gifted us a luxury 5-day cruise, but we took his sister instead because she needed fresh air. When he picked us up at the airport, he just smiled. We had no idea what he'd done until we got home. My son Ezra, 27, surprised me and my wife with a 5-day luxury cruise for our anniversary. He paid for the whole thing on his own, which shocked me because he's never been the bragging type about his money. He just handed us the envelope, said he'd arranged everything, flights included. Really sweet gesture. He hasn't lived with us full-time for years, but he's always been around helping with things, fixing stuff, sorting bills, that type of adult son who never causes trouble. Well, the problem started before the cruise even began. We have a daughter too, Marina, 23. She's been dealing with anxiety and job issues and a bad breakup, and honestly, she's been in a weird mental space for months. She kept going on about how she needed a break from everything and how she'd kill for a vacation. She didn't ask for Ezra's ticket, but she dropped enough comments that my wife felt awful leaving her behind. My wife asked me, and I agreed that maybe switching Ezra's name for Marina's would be fine. I didn't think it was a big deal. We figured Ezra wouldn't mind if she got some fresh air. It was his gift to us. And Marina really needed a reset. She's always been the more fragile one, and Ezra's the he'll understand kid. So I switched the name. Didn't even tell him until the night before our flight. I texted him that Marina would be coming instead. I genuinely thought he'd just say, okay. He didn't respond at all. But he didn't call either, so I figured maybe he was asleep. He showed up at the airport to drop us off. Perfectly polite. That's what threw me. He wasn't upset. He wasn't weird. He actually told Marina to enjoy herself and that he hoped the two of us had a good anniversary. Total calm, no passive aggression. He even helped us carry bags. The cruise itself was great, relaxing. We barely checked our phones. Marina got sunburned twice, but was actually fun to be around, which is rare these days. I came back feeling like maybe we'd given her the push she needed. Ezra was already waiting for us at arrivals. He smiled too politely, not uncomfortable, just off. He helped with luggage again. Didn't push conversation. Marina sat in the back seat rambling about everything she ate. Ezra nodded at all the right times. No sarcasm, no comments, nothing. We got home. That's when everything started feeling wrong. The first thing I noticed was his stuff. All the tools, gone. His old room, empty. The shelf in the garage where he kept spare parts and random handyman things, cleared out. He'd even taken the drill bits. I thought maybe he was reorganizing or moved things to storage. Then I saw the Wi-Fi name had changed. The password didn't work anymore. My wife went to use Netflix. Removed. Amazon Prime. Removed. Even Costco, the membership that was under his name because he worked at a place that gave him a discount, gone. I tried the garage keypad. Code invalid. He had installed that system for us years ago, so I figured maybe it glitched. Then the electricity bill came in my email. I almost dropped my phone. It was in my name, not his, with a past due balance I'd never seen before. I texted him, asking what happened, and he replied, "Everything is yours now. Enjoy." That's it. At first I told my wife he was being dramatic. Maybe he felt disrespected about the ticket, but surely he didn't mean to uproot everything. Maybe it was just bad timing. Maybe he was changing accounts around. But then more stuff rolled in. Insurance notifications, subscription cancellations, and I realized he had been quietly handling a lot more than we ever noticed. All these automatic payments gone, everything was suddenly in our laps. The more I looked, the more I understood that Ezra didn't take a break from helping us. He froze us out completely. I tried calling, he ignored it. I drove to his place, he didn't open the door. Meanwhile, Marina kept insisting, he's just being sensitive, he'll get over it. But I could tell it was more than that. I kept thinking about how calm he had been at the airport. Nobody is that calm unless they've already decided something. I don't know what's happening. The most uncomfortable part is that he hasn't said a single angry word. Update 1. I thought maybe things were just weird timing, or maybe Ezra needed space and I should respect it. Now it's clear. Now another thing that hit us was the phone bill. I didn't even connect the dots at first. The amount was triple what it normally is, and I assumed maybe the carrier raised prices. My wife kept saying something didn't add up because we used to have a big discount, and she remembered Ezra mentioning something about it being linked to his job, so I checked the account, and that's when I saw it. Ezra had moved his phone line off the plan completely. His line was gone, removed, the discount disappeared with it, and now we owed a ridiculous deposit because he was apparently the top responsible user on the plan. It bothered me how cleanly it was done. No warning, no passive-aggressive comments. He just detached himself like we were a gym membership he no longer wanted. The second thing I found was worse. I got an email from the car insurance company. The premium doubled overnight. I almost threw my phone. I called the company thinking it had to be a mistake. They told me the policyholder had updated the account and removed himself as the primary driver. Again, Ezra. He had been listed first for years because he dealt with the paperwork and kept track of maintenance schedules. I never even questioned why things ran smoothly. He had handled it all behind the scenes. My wife cried when she saw the new premium. She said I had pushed him too far, that he was hurt, and this was his way of telling us. I snapped at her and said she was being dramatic because nobody destroys their own life out of spite. But as I kept looking through emails and paperwork, the more I realized he wasn't destroying his life. He was cleaning it. He was cleaning us off of it. The third hit came in the form of a frozen savings account, one I honestly forgot we even had. It wasn't a big account, not life-changing, but it was something we occasionally used for emergencies. I tried logging in and it said restricted access. My stomach dropped. We had opened it when Ezra was in college. Back when he was helping us juggle bills, I called the bank, thinking I just forgot a password. They told me the account holder put a restriction on it, and that I would need to come in with documentation to reinstate my access. I told them I was the father. They said that didn't matter. The account holder was Ezra. I tried not to explode. I told my wife it was ridiculous that a grown man was acting this petty over a cruise ticket. She gave me this look like she was scared to say what she was thinking, and honestly, I didn't want to hear it anyway. And then the flash drive showed up. It wasn't in an envelope, just a small box with our address printed on a label. No note. I thought maybe it was something related to the house warranty or the car. My wife said she didn't like the feeling of it. I plugged it in. It opened to a single file labeled Responsibilities. Inside was the longest spreadsheet I have ever seen in my life. It was like he'd been documenting every adult task he took over from us, starting at 18 dates, receipts, account numbers, confirmation codes, everything. He even listed the amount he covered for Marina's credit debt 2 years ago that we didn't know about. He listed every time property taxes were late and he paid the penalty. He listed every HOA violation notice he handled without telling us because he didn't want to stress us while we were working. He listed the dental bill he covered for my wife when the insurance lapsed and she told me it was handled. My wife sat at the table holding her head. I know she blames me. I can feel it every time she looks at me. She isn't wrong, but I can't say that out loud. The next day, the HOA letter arrived. Past violations going back months. Apparently Ezra had been paying the fines directly through an auto-pay portal he set up. When he removed his payment method, the system restarted the billing cycle. There were warnings, then a notice about late fees, then something about a complaint that we had left trash bins out too long. We had never gotten any of this before. He had shielded us from all of it. Marina, by the way, refuses to take responsibility for anything. She keeps saying he's dramatic and needs to get over it. She says he's always been sensitive and that we shouldn't reward tantrums. I reminded her she hadn't paid rent in months and maybe she should leave Ezra's name out of her mouth. She stormed off like a teenager. I know what people are going to say. We used our son. Maybe we did. I didn't realize it. I didn't see it like that. He never complained. He never said stop. He never pushed back. He just kept doing things, and we got comfortable. Maybe too comfortable. My wife keeps saying we need to talk to him. I keep saying he needs time. Truth is, I don't know what he needs, and I don't think I'm ready to hear whatever he'd say. Update 2. Apparently, he wasn't done. The first thing that happened after my last post was the family reunion. I didn't even know he went. We weren't invited. We found out through my sister, who called my wife in a panic, asking what we did to Ezra because he showed up alone and said he was taking a break from us for at least a year. That was all he said. My sister said he looked relaxed and even joked around with the cousins. Meanwhile, every aunt and uncle called us asking what happened. It was humiliating. I tried explaining that nothing big happened and that it was just a misunderstanding with the cruise tickets, but I could tell they didn't believe me. Everyone assumed we did something terrible, but I honestly didn't think switching the ticket was a serious issue. I still don't understand why it had to get blown up like this. The next thing was the Costco situation. I usually do a big grocery run once a month. I filled the cart with all our regular stuff, didn't think twice, and went to pay. The card declined with a message saying the account was closed. The cashier looked uncomfortable, and people behind me were staring, which made it worse. I thought it was a technical issue until I checked my email and saw a notice that the primary holder closed the account. The primary holder was Ezra. My wife was upset in the car the entire drive home. She kept saying she couldn't believe he would do that over something so small. I told her he was probably just being dramatic and it would blow over, but honestly, I didn't feel confident saying it. A few days later, a city inspector showed up at our house. At first, I thought it was some mistake, but he asked to look at our backyard shed. I've had that shed for years. I built it myself. I never thought about permits because it's not like it's a whole building or anything. Turns out someone reported it as an unpermitted structure. The inspector took pictures, wrote everything down, and told me it needed to be removed. There's also a $2,900 fine. My wife asked me who would even report that, and honestly, I knew right away. Ezra didn't say anything to us directly. I thought that was the end of it, and I was already frustrated enough, but then Ezra decided to drag Marina into it. Apparently, she forged his signature for a loan when she was younger. She told us she borrowed paperwork from him once, but we didn't know it was a real loan with his name tied to it. He sent us proof through email and said she had 90 days to fix it or he would report it. My wife panicked. Marina doesn't have that kind of money, and she's already struggling with other things. When I tried bringing up that maybe we could talk this out with him, my wife snapped at me, saying this all started because I took advantage of Ezra for years. I think that's unfair. I didn't force him to handle things. I just thought he was helping out like any adult kid who lives nearby would. It wasn't supposed to turn into all of this. We're trying to figure out how to deal with the loan situation. The shed needs to be taken down within 30 days. The Costco thing is still embarrassing to think about, and all the relatives are acting weird now, like they're waiting for me to confess to some huge fight or hidden abuse, when the truth is, it was literally just a cruise. I'll update again if anything else happens. Honestly, I'm hoping nothing will, but at this point, I'm not optimistic. Update 3. The first thing that happened was an email from him. Not a normal email either. A short, neat message, basically saying he was finalizing the sale of the property next door, and that we should expect new neighbors soon. I didn't understand what he meant, because the property next door belonged to some tech guy that barely came outside. Turns out the tech guy was Ezra. He bought the house years ago and never told us. I guess he liked the privacy. When I saw his name on the property records, I honestly felt sick. I don't know how he even managed something that big without saying a word. Meanwhile, we were thinking he was just doing fine, not that he was buying entire houses. The house sold fast, no warning at all. The new family moved in right away, and I don't know how to describe them besides chaotic. They have 5 toddlers, all under maybe 7. They're loud from the moment the sun comes up. There's a trampoline in their yard that they use basically non-stop. They drag it around too, so you can hear it scraping every few hours. And the dog, this giant fluffy thing that gets loose all the time and digs under our fence. I don't even have the energy to complain to them because they look exhausted too. They're friendly but careless, the type of people who don't realize they're making anyone else's life harder. I'm sure Ezra picked them on purpose. He probably looked for the loudest family he could find. Maybe he thinks it's funny. He knows my wife needs quiet to sleep or else she gets migraines. She's barely slept at all this week, and he sent one message afterward that made me feel like he was mocking us. Something like, they need the fresh air too. It irritated me so much I had to put my phone down for hours. Then we got the worst news so far. Marina came home early from work in tears. Ezra had sent her employer the loan information. I guess when you owe money legally, there are rules about notifying employers if certain actions are being considered. He didn't say anything publicly. He just followed the technical steps. Her boss didn't want to deal with it, so they let her go. They fired her with some vague excuse about financial concerns. She was shaking when she got home. She kept saying it wasn't fair, and honestly I agree, but Ezra doesn't care about fairness right now. She's moved back into the house full-time, upset and angry at everyone, mostly at me. She keeps saying I ruined her life. My wife is blaming me too. Every time something happens, she looks at me like I caused it. I feel like I'm being punished for something I didn't think was that serious. We swapped a ticket on a cruise. That's literally it. Ezra still acts like we committed some huge betrayal. The house is a mess. Bills keep showing up with amounts we didn't expect because Ezra used to handle so many small things without telling us. The shed still needs to be demolished, and we have a deadline coming up that we're probably going to miss. The fines are piling up because everything is happening at the same time. I didn't realize how much he did behind the scenes. Maybe that's on me. Maybe I shouldn't have let him take over so many responsibilities. But it wasn't on purpose. It just happened over time. Final update. Everything feels like one long chain reaction that I thought I could stop at any point, and now I'm sitting in a house that doesn't even feel like mine, surrounded by bills I didn't know existed, with a wife who won't even look at me unless it's to remind me that all of this started because I thought my son would understand. I guess I should just get to it. Every time I thought Ezra had run out of ways to pull the rug out from under us, he found another one waiting. I tried telling myself he was being dramatic, or punishing us to make a point, or that he just needed time. That's how parents think, I guess. We're used to the idea that a kid eventually cools off. I don't think Ezra cooled off. I think he planned, I think he was waiting. My breaking point was the day I tried to fix things. I knew he wasn't answering calls or emails, so I thought talking face to face would be better. Everyone online told me not to, but I didn't want to sit around waiting for another one of his surprises, so I drove to his job. I figured if I spoke calmly and owned whatever he felt I did wrong, he might at least hear me out. That's what you're supposed to do with an adult child, right? Treat them like adults. I didn't even make it to the front desk. Security walked right up before I said a word and asked my name. I didn't think anything of it until they told me I needed to leave. I didn't cause a scene. I just asked if Ezra was around so I could talk to him. That was it. But they already had my name flagged. I was escorted out like some threat. When I got home, my wife was already a mess. Marina moved out, not to Ezra's place, not even to be near him. She just left, packed her things while I was gone, and told my wife she needed distance from us because she didn't feel safe getting dragged into another mess. The loan situation, the job thing, the way every extended family member suddenly acted like she was radioactive, the pressure crushed her. Ezra offered to help her get a therapist if she put physical distance between herself and us. She didn't even hesitate. She walked out and left a note saying she'd figure the rest out later. So now my wife blames me for losing both kids. She keeps acting like Ezra and Marina are going through some mastermind plan together, but it's obvious they're not. Ezra isn't including her in anything. He only reached out to her privately when it involved legal requirements. Everything else he's done on his own. My wife keeps begging me to undo whatever I did, like this is something that can be fixed with a heartfelt speech or a family dinner. Meanwhile, the fallout he created hasn't stopped. The toddlers next door have turned the backyard into some kind of public playground. Their parents are the type who think kids need room to express themselves, so now we hear screaming every morning before the sun is even out. The dog dug another hole under our fence last week, and I tried patching it, but it didn't matter. It just made a new one. The shed is already gone. The fine came out of our savings. And our savings weren't even our savings, because a big chunk of what I thought we had was stuff Ezra had added, not us. I keep looking around the house, realizing how much of my stability was actually Ezra making sure nothing fell apart. I wasn't even aware of half the things he covered, and now I'm dealing with the backlash of not having it. The grocery bills, the insurance, the car stuff, the phone plan, it all hit at once. I feel like I'm drowning. I don't want to admit how much he was doing because it makes me feel like a failure. But the truth is, he took away the net we didn't realize we were leaning on. And then, because apparently things weren't bad enough, we got a letter. Not from Ezra, from his girlfriend, a formal letter, the kind that doesn't even sound like a person wrote it. It said Ezra won't be contacting us anymore, that he wasn't interested in further conflict, and that attempts to reach him at work or home would be taken as harassment. She actually wrote that we shouldn't expect future involvement regarding medical decisions, weddings, or children. Not that I expected children anytime soon, but the finality of it hit me in a way I can't explain. I guess I thought he would always be around, even if we weren't close. I didn't expect to be shut out like this. My wife cried for 2 days straight. She keeps telling me we didn't deserve this, that he's being cruel, that we made a mistake but not a catastrophic one. She wanted me to call lawyers, therapists, mediators. I didn't see the point. Ezra is done with us. He made it painfully clear.